Colin B. Mackay is in many ways inseparable from UNB. Although we remember him best as our president from 1953 to 1969, he first came to UNB as an undergraduate and never really left us. His spirit was our spirit. His aspirations were our aspirations. More than any other individual, Colin B. Mackay wrote the story of UNB, and it was a story he never tired of telling.
I believe that Colin B. Mackay was, among many other things, UNB's great advocate and ambassador. He was able to articulate a story about UNB, to fashion a narrative, and to get people excited about that. People from within the university community, but especially from outside, the government of the day, the broader community. He told a great story, and he told it well, and people believed in him, and they believed in that story.
When Colin Bridges Mackay was born in Rothsay in 1920, he was already connected to UNB. His grandfather, H.S. Bridges, was a professor of classics who lived on the UNB campus, and his mother was actually born in the old arts building. Dr. Mackay graduated from UNB with a degree in history in 1942. He then joined the Navy and commanded a landing craft on Juno Beach on D-Day. After the war, he obtained a law degree from UBC and returned home to practice law. But a life in private practice was not to be. A voice was calling Colin B. Mackay, and that voice was Lord Beaverbrook.
Lord Beaverbrook, in effect, appointed him, I think on the recommendation of Mary Louise Lynch, and over the opposition of the political leaders of the day. He was appointed. Young whippersnapper, a lawyer in St. John, no university background. His
uncle, Hugh Mackay, was on the Senate, and that was what the Board of Governors was called in those days. And Uncle Hugh went to the decisive meeting when they were talking about getting a new president, and when he came away, he said to Colin, your name came up, but he said, none of us want you.
So I'm sure that it was considered by many as suspect and questionable at the time. But there's also no question that he turned out to be the perfect appointment. And in fact, some of the perceived limits for Colin B. Mackay turned out to be great strengths. I mean, his youth and his vigor, his ability to take a new and fresh perspective.
I think Lord Beaverbrook thought that Colin was an upcoming young man. I think he thought of him in the same light that he thought about John Kennedy. He thought he was a man who would be going places in the United States, and he thought Colin was of a similar ilk, and he would be going places in Canada.
The relationship with Beaverbrook would come to dominate Dr. Mackay's time as president of UNB. It was an important and valued relationship for the university, but sometimes a challenging one for the young president.
Well, it was a very complex relationship, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But I think on balance it was enormously beneficial both to Colin and to the university. He was Lord Beaverbrook's choice, a very improbable choice, and he never forgot that, and he never allowed Beaverbrook to forget that he was Beaverbrook's choice.
But every time Lord Beaverbrook came to town, he had to vacate the house. And at one time, he made a little place for himself in the basement of the arts building. Not many people knew about that, but he had a shower put in and some bedroom furniture, and that's where he bunked when Lord Beaverbrook was in his house on Waterloo Row.
At the age of 33, Colin Mackay became the youngest university president ever in Canada. But he was growing up quickly, and so was UNB. He was determined to turn what was a small provincial college into a great university. In his words, a comprehensive national institution to be reckoned